got a ton of money or access to the ability to produce money as an entrepreneur. I can make money. I can't make time. So I want to give you what I think is the simplest and yet most effective hack, strategy, tactic I've ever been given as it pertains to task management. This is what's going to happen. This is what's really interesting is it shocks me to this day. You get as much, if not more, done. Running a business is hard. Running a business, running an agency, running an e-com store, this is hard. This is hard work. Being an entrepreneur is massively difficult. And if you're trying to do everything, you're trying to run the traffic and manage the employees and deal with customers, task management is one of the most important things that you have to deal with. And so what I want to do is I want to give you what I think is the simplest and yet most effective hack, strategy, tactic I've ever been given as it pertains to task management. Let's cut to the slides. This is a conversation about the difference between your task list and your calendar. There should be no difference between your task list and your calendar. Your task list is a list of things that you're supposed to do. Your calendar is a list of the things that you're going to do. Tasks that aren't on your calendar are things that are never going to get done. And y'all, I did this for a decade plus. I had a collection of things that I knew I needed to do that was my task list. And then I'd have my calendar that was always full, top to bottom, with meetings, appointments, sales consults, whatever. And the task items were never on my calendar. And I'm telling you, it took me 10 years to figure this out. You've heard people refer this to this generally as time blocking, but I don't like that standalone, because oftentimes when you think time blocking, you think like, oh, okay, I'm going to carve some time out for some of the most important tasks. Nay. Everything on your task list gets scheduled. And if it doesn't, then it's something you don't plan on getting done, which is fine. You can have a holding tank. So I can have a list of stuff that like, hey, someday I'm going to do this stuff. And that's cool. I keep mine in Evernote, and it's just ever growing, and I rarely get to a lot of it. But that's okay, too. Sometimes you need a place where tasks go to die. I actually really like that. I like having a location where I can drop stuff that in the moment felt important, but then later when I look back on it, I'm like, I really need to do that. I don't need to do that. That's the voice that I use, by the way, when I'm thinking about things that I need to do. I don't need to do that. Task list needs to be your calendar. These two things need to be merged. They need to be the exact same list, because otherwise you're going to go insane. And what I would end up doing, and I bet you, but for a lot of you, especially younger entrepreneurs, what you end up doing is you work all damn day on your calendar, and then after work, when the calendar is over, now you go tackle your task list. Move your list into your calendar. And here's what's going to happen. This is what's really interesting is it shocks me to this day. You get as much, if not more, done. I swear to God it's true. You get as much, if not more, done because you're being intentional about what it is that you're capable of doing. And you'll also notice that, there's that old saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. When you fill up your calendar, you get really cautious about how much time you allocate to certain tasks and what you allow to land on your calendar. I am repelled by meetings. I'm repelled by it. My favorite thing that happens is when people reach out like on LinkedIn or their cold emails or whatever, like, hey, why don't we drop some time on the calendar, virtual cup of coffee? And I'm like, you have no idea. Like you'd have better shot offering me herpes. Like it's like that's the most valuable thing I have. I swear to God, I mean it when I say I'd sooner give you money. Like you're digitally panhandling, but you're panhandling the thing that's a non-renewable resource for me. I've got a ton of money or access to the ability to produce money as an entrepreneur. I can make money. I can't make time. Don't ask me for my time. And part of that is beat into me because I've built this system, and I'm not the only one that built it. I don't remember where I even stole this, to be honest with you. It might be David Allen, I think, getting things done. Regardless, your task list is your calendar. Those two things are merged. And when they're merged, what you're going to find is you end up being exponentially more productive. It forces you to set time aside. You have to set time aside for your most important tasks, which means you actually get your most important tasks done, which means now you're living in Stephen Covey's Quadrant 2. And if you haven't read The 7 Habits, you absolutely have to. You're bringing the most important things forward, scheduling them first, and then everything else gets scheduled around them, which is super-duper cool. What I really like about this, too, is it lets you see what capacity you have. You get to know, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of place. I'm running out of margin here. And it is, look at that. I already have a slide for it, and I didn't even know it. Getting Things Done by David Allen. Really worth reading, by the way. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to change your life. It's not anything that you don't already know. It's just like super simple, really good, solid advice. And I'd be really interested in knowing what you do for task management. What am I missing here? If you're like, yeah, Kasim, that's great. That's 1.0. But let me tell you how the Jedis do it. I'd love to learn from you. I'm not telling you I'm a task or efficiency expert or anything. But I have noticed, especially because, I've done a mild amount of coaching now and consulting, and I've got a mastermind. And, there are people that come in through our agency, and I can just kind of see, oh, this seems to be a problem for people. So I thought I'd shoot a video on it. I'm also posting a thread every single day to Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go follow me at Kasim Aslam. You can follow me on Instagram at the same handle. And I'll see you tomorrow. I want to make you more productive than you've ever been in your entire life. And I'm going to do that by offering you advice that was given to me by a buddy, Steve Napolitano. Shout out to Steve. Really, really brilliant entrepreneur. Absolutely worth watching. Steve gave me the best advice on task management I've ever been.